So I want to talk about another double-edged topic. Just like most topics that I talk about, they're all a double-edged sword. Everything can go left and right or left very quickly. One side can be too heavy, the other side can be too light. It's all just kind of a balancing act here. But when we're talking about caring for people, places, and things, this is a very, 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 very huge double-edged sword in my life. I'm only speaking for me in this video. I'm not speaking for anybody but myself in this video. But when you see someone like me, it's very hard to describe why I don't get involved with certain things and I don't allow myself to keep being involved with certain things, because I know for myself the way that my mind is, or the way that I think of things, or the limitations that I have with certain things, the way that I go about doing certain things in my own life, I have to be standoffish with certain things, and I have to say, look, it's just better if I don't get involved with certain things. Now, I'm going to give you an example of what I mean here, and I hate to use this example, but there might be someone that can relate to this. I don't know. I'm just doing this video to talk about it because it's something that is bothering me. It's something that is bothering me deeply. And it does bother me because it comes up ever so often when I start getting myself involved with other people or involved with other things. And this is why I tend to stay with myself. This is why I tend to be alone. This is why I tend to not be around a bunch of other people, because when you're around other people, you're getting involved with all of the things that are going on in their life, and you're getting involved with these little aspects that they may be worrying about or they might be going through, and whatever it is. And I know for me, I care too much. You see, I care too much. I have too much empathy. I have too much compassion for things. And that's why I can't let myself get involved with so many people and so many things, because then I start worrying about everything. I start trying to fix things and saying, oh, well, I can help this person and I can help give them a word of something, when in actuality, I know that that isn't true. I can only do what I can do for me, but the servitude that I would be talking about doing, it's a servitude that is not like a lot of other people go about doing it. You see, I wouldn't mind if I had to give helping someone that they might need something like food or shelter or clothing, or a ride somewhere. Something like that. I'm just giving you examples. But when it comes to personal things, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I cannot do it because I can't handle it, because I start getting involved with what they're doing and the things they say they're going through, and then everything that they're doing, they're like, oh, well, can you help me with this? Can you help me do this? Well, I need you for this and this. And then they start kind of trying to get you involved with their personal world. And I do not want anything to do with people's personal worlds. it's just something for myself that I don't get involved with. I just don't get involved with it because, like I said, I have too much compassion. I have too much empathy. I see how this life is. I see how people do the things they do. And I'm going to give you an example here, and I hate to give you this example. I'm just being vulnerable here, and I'm telling you how it really is because it's bothering the shit out of me. But I talked with my brother a long time ago because he needs help with getting his driver's license and permit. He needs to go parallel park. And I told him I would help him go do it. And I told him I would help him go, parallel park and practice for the test. But see, there's more that comes with it than that. It starts being this thing where the things that he does, the things that he's into, the way that he sees a lot of things, I don't see things like that. And a lot of what he might be into or however the things he watches and whatever, I don't. You see, so there's a disconnect there. Yes, I care for him. He's my brother. I care for him. I care for my mom and I care for people. But the way that we think about things, the things that we will talk about, the things that I may need to discuss and get into, there's just a disconnect there. It's like I can't. And I don't want to because I already know where it's going to lead. I already know what it's going to turn into. And it's just the fact, it's like even though you care for somebody, even though you have compassion for them and you care deep down, it's almost like it's like a Vietnam vet that went to war and he came home and he just can't click with the people that don't understand what he went through or what he's going through or the way that he thinks about things, the way that he sees things. There's just a disconnect there. That's the only way I can explain it. And see, the reason that you seclude yourself and you're a loner and you're by yourself is because you already know what the situation's going to lead to, and it's just better sometimes to not even discuss things or to bring them up, because when you bring these things up to other people, when you start telling them about, just say you have some kind of mental issue going on in your life, and you bring that up, then it becomes this worry thing. It becomes, I'm on their mind now, and they're worrying about me, and they're saying, oh, well, maybe you need to do this, and well, you're doing too much of this, and then it becomes this thing where everybody's trying to resolve the issue or do something about it or whatever. And see, me, I'm the kind of person where when I'm by myself, I take a brutal, honest look at these things and I let go of it. It's not on my mind. I'm not really worrying about it. When it comes up, I deal with it the way that I deal with it. But I'm just learning lately not to get people involved with that aspect of my life. This is why I do YouTube videos, you see. This is why I make these videos. This is why I get on here, because this is the way that I am comfortable doing it. This is the way that I can do it to where I don't need to get some response. I can just do what I do, how I do it, and then I can upload the video and I can put it out there to people. I don't have to worry about this. Oh, well, don't you think that you should do this? Or don't you think that it's the reason why you're like that is because of this? Don't you think that you should maybe start doing this? You see, it's this thing where it's just building up something to try to make you do something that you know that you're not going to do anyway, because you know the way you think. You see, I have a confidence in myself of how I know I want to live my life and how I want to go about coping with it. And it kills me to say that there might be some people that they're not like me. They're not like me. So in order for me to tell them that, they might not know how to take it. They take it the wrong way. You see, then I have to tell them, look, I care for you. I care for you. It kills me thinking about the fact that I can't save you. I cannot save you from this life. And I won't even lie to people. I really do hope that Jesus Christ comes back. Like I think that in my mind. I say, please save us from what we cannot save ourselves from. I really do think like that in my head. I just think stuff like that. Because I can't save anybody. I don't have any answers for anybody. And that I am sorry for. That kills me. And then when I see my brother going through what he's going through and struggling with what he's struggling with, and he needs help with something, you see, when I get involved with that, there's a disconnect there, because the things that I think and the way that I cope and the way I do things is not the same way that him or my mom or other people are going to. So it's just going to be like this thing where we're trying to resolve an issue that there's no resolving. There's no resolving it. But yet we don't know how to let go of that control. We don't know how to say, look, it's just the way that life is sometimes. It's just how it is. I care for you. I care for you. But it's almost like besides that, there's nothing I can really say. There's a disconnect there, because things that I have to do are things that you're not going to do, and it's just not going to click. It's just not going to happen. And it's kind of like this thing where you got to give a kind of, I love you and I care for you, but I have to go my own way. I got to go do my own thing. I have to be on my own, Like, I'm in a situation where I'm probably going to lose this apartment because I can't afford it anymore. And, my mom said something about I can move back in there with my brother. But the situation and the circumstances, it's just not good for me to move in there, because I am I'm someone that was doing a lot of drugs. I'm someone that takes a medication now, and I have to be very careful who I'm around. And see, my brother, I'm not going to get into the details, but me and him being around each other, it's just not good. It's just not good. And I don't know how to tell him that without him, maybe he'll take that wrong, and maybe that will make him worse, and maybe he'll take it the wrong way. You see, it's almost like you can't say what you really want to say, because you know that it's going to be either misunderstood or it's going to be taken in a way where people are trying to resolve it where it can't be resolved. It's just the way that things are. It just doesn't match up. It just doesn't click. This is what I mean by this is why I want to go off somewhere by myself, because I've already come to terms with the rest of my life. I've already went through that shedding of the snake skin process. I've already went through all of that. I've already been through it. I already know how the pattern of my mental health is. I know, like, once, twice, three times a year, I fall into these I fall into these things where my mind and my brain is doing whatever my mind and brain does. I go from, okay, everything's not too bad. Everything's kind of going smooth. I'm not having many problems. I'm not really depressed. I'm not really going through much of anything. Life is happening and I'm doing what I got to do. And then all of a sudden, my brain does whatever my brain does, and I just go low. My mood is low, my energy is low. There's just not too much there, and this is something I struggle with big time. And when it happens, it's not a pleasant experience. And for myself, I have to pray, I have to take walks, I have to do things to cope. I got to do things my way, how I do it, that a lot of other people might not do it. And that's just the way that it is. I have to do it how I do it for myself. And this is me being by myself. I came to the realization that you just can't take on the burden of other people and the world, even though you want to help them out when they really need help, even though you have compassion for them, even though you have empathy and you care for them and you want the best for them. Sometimes it's just like when you say the truth will set you free, and the truth hurts. It's just the way it is. Sometimes it is this thing that it really hurts, and it hurts you so much that you have to kind of ignore it, or you have to stay away, or if you do say something, you kind of have to finagle saying the best thing that you can possibly say without saying exactly what it is that you want to say. Because if you say that thing, then it's more likely to cause more problems, because someone might not understand. Someone might take it the wrong way. And then I got to deal with that. Then I got to take it upon myself to deal with it, because I know that I can't be brutally honest sometimes. And that's why I do these videos, because I can be brutally honest on here. I don't have to go and force other people to listen to my shit. I don't have to say, hey, listen, I need you to listen to me. I need you to be here with me for a week until I put all my stuff on you so that I can cope with my life. I don't need to do that. I can just do a video wherever I am, wherever I go. And to me, that is the beauty of these videos. It's something that has actually been helping me to cope for years. If I didn't have these videos, who knows? I don't know what would have happened. I mean, I still would do what I have to do. I'm still going to do what I have to do, because I got to do what I have to do. If I'm on this earth and I'm on this planet, I have to do what I have to do. And I have to do it the best that I know how to do it. I can rely on people for certain things, you see, but certain things I can't. I can't rely on people. I just can't do it. It's very hard to describe when you want to be brutally honest about something and you really want to tell someone how you might really feel or how you really see it, and you realize you're going to have to hurt people's feelings. You see, this is why I say about this feelings thing. People, they put their feelings into their personal lives. They put their everything into their personal lives. And me, I just feel like I am disassociated from people anymore. I feel like I am I feel like I am detached from the world and the way that a lot of people go about doing things. And I just don't feel like I can have an honest conversation with people because I know how people are going to take a lot of things because I did it before. It's something that has happened before many times. And this is why I know what not to do or what, okay, I can do a little bit of this, but I have to watch how much I'm doing. I have to watch what I'm saying because I know more than likely I'm not saying that that's the case because how can you know? How can you know how people are going to react? How can you know what measures and lengths they will go to try to fix something, or that they'll sit and worry about something that they can't change, they have no control over? And this is why people that I know that are in my family that I care for, I just realize there is some things that I cannot talk to them about, but I love them, I care for them, and it kills me that I can't do that, but I just have to swallow the pill and say, look, it's just not meant to be, Nate. So take it in, go through it, and let it go. Let it go. Just take it in with yourself, unto yourself, no matter how much it hurts you, no matter how much it's making you do whatever it does, because it does something very strange to my mind. It does something very, very, very not good to me when I'm around people, and it isn't that I want to put on a mask or a facade or act a certain way or say something. It isn't that I want to do it, but it's like sometimes when you know that you know and you have the knowledge of how things are and you've been there so many times and you did it before so many times and you know more than likely what an outcome is going to be, you know where the conversation is going, you know how most people will react. It's almost like you have to do this thing where you have to take it upon yourself to hold back a little bit, you see? And that holding back, it causes some kind of something in me that is not good, because I have had this happen 3 times in the last 5 or 6 months when I went down around the people that I care for, people that I care for the most in my life. I have left and I had gotten a severe, either a migraine or something where I felt ill. I felt physically ill. And I mean ill. I mean so ill I could hardly drive home. Now, I don't know if that's some physical problem. I don't know if that's some mental thing happening. But I'll tell you what, if it's some mental thing happening, it's very, very scary. And I don't know how to cope with it. Because I don't feel like I can be honest with the people that I care for the most. And it's just so hard to explain to people that don't understand this. They're like, oh, well, just say what you have to say. And if they can't accept it, then whatever, you got to move on. No, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. It's not like that, because the only other thing I could do is cut them off, completely. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But then it sucks to say this, but it's like we have nothing in common. It's like we have nothing in common anymore. Nothing. There's nothing that we talk about to each other. There's nothing that I'm into that they're into. There's no common ground there. It's just this imbalance. We care for each other, and I don't know how many of you out there have the same thing with people that you know, people in your own family, people that you care for. I care for them, I care for their well-being, and I will help them when help is needed. But besides that, I can't do anything for them. It's just like whoever comes on this channel. I can't do anything for anybody. I can only be honest with myself. I can only be vulnerable with me. I can only be real with me. I can only be genuine with me. I can only be authentic with me. I can only do what I can do for me, even though I want to have some servitude, and I want to help while I can, and I want to. I always had this thing where I wanted everybody to be around each other and to feel good about something and to individually love what they're doing, but that's just not the way of the world, and I don't know how to make that happen. And when it doesn't come together how I think it should come together, then I lose my shit. If one thing's wrong, then I'm focused on that one thing. And this is why I say, I don't know if I have some form of autism or some kind of something. I don't look like I have anything like that. But if there's 100 apples in front of me and I see that one of them are rotten, it's going to bother the fuck out of me. That's just how I am. And if someone's around me and they're just continually doing something that I don't do, or something that's bothering me, or something that we're not clicking, or it's something that is just, we are not on the same terms, I have to get away from that thing. I cannot be around it because I'm focusing on it and focusing on it and focusing on it, and it's bothering me and it's bothering me. And if I get honest, then I know that something can happen. I know that they're going to either get offended, or they're going to take it the wrong way, or it's going to turn into some kind of stupid thing where it's an argument, or we're disagreeing and we're trying to make up for it. And it's just, I do whatever I can do to get away from that. And that's why I am so used to being by myself. I'm so used to being in a room with me and talking with me and reflecting on me. And when other people come around, I can't click with them. I can't relate to them. I can't communicate with them the way that I want to communicate. I can't get comfortable with them. I cannot do it. I can't even get comfortable with the people that I love and care for. And this scares the shit out of me that I can't do this. And it gets me down and out. It gets me in these ruts that I get in, on top of the mental things going on. And this is why I don't get involved with it, you see. This is why I don't let myself, this is why I stay away. It's for the benefit of the people that I care and love for, you see. If I'm around, even though I'm not the burden, I'm going to become the burden, because the burdens and the things I have going on, the way that I go about doing it and the way that I want it to happen and the way I see it, that's not the way that it's going to happen. And it does something to my mind. I just can't hack it. I can't be around it. I have to get away from it. I have to go off on my own. I have to go do my own thing. I have to walk my own lane. I have to walk my own path. And that's what, if I hope anything on this channel, I hope that everybody detaches from those situations. And look, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. It's not going to be an easy thing. But it just comes to a point where there are people that cannot let go. There are people that can't give up control. There are people that are attached to things so much that they're just causing the problems. And it's what I do. You see, when I come around, I start getting attached again to things that I have no control over. I start getting attached. I start getting involved with other people's energy and their personal things. And I don't want anything to do with it because there's no even ground there. I don't associate myself with it. It's not something I'm interested in. It has no value to me at all. It's like there's no way to try to make it work. And when you realize that you can't try to make it work and it's not going to work, then it's time to move on. It's time to say, this is not working. Okay, now what? You gotta let your feelings out of this. You gotta stop being so attached to certain things, because things are always going to be changing in life. People are always going to be dying. Things are always going to be happening. People are going to think different, and they're going to change their mind, and they're going to go another way, and this is going to happen to every one of us. It's not just me. There's people that might have been here that were enjoying these videos at first, and then they said, well, I had enough of this guy. I don't want to hear this anymore. I have to move on and go somewhere else. That's fine. That's fine, because it's life. It's life. There's nothing that I can do or say. There's nothing that I can possibly give anybody to solve this life situation that we're in. And some people just don't get this. They're desperately holding on to old things, to things that just don't work. And I'm not explaining it the exact way I wanted to explain it in my mind. I did the best that I could to explain it, but it still is a very misunderstood thing. When you have some mental things that come out of nowhere, and then you got to deal with that, and you have to cope with that, and you have to live through that, and you got to go through that. And then when you are there, it's back to this thing where, okay, it's back. Now I got to talk about it again. I got to let people know that that's going on again, and you got to get into it again. But then it's like, you know what? Just go through it. Don't even tell anybody, just go through it. But then that doesn't help either. That just kind of makes it worse too. So what do? I can't win either way. It's a lose-lose, so I might as well lose with dignity. I might as well lose with being honest with myself. I might as well lose with coping. I might as well lose in the craft. I might as well lose and just say what I have to say, because I realize now there's no winning. There's no winning for me. It's just a coping thing. When the days are bright and good, the days are bright and good. And I might do a bright and good song. Then when the days are dark and depressing, I might do a dark and depressing song. It's when I was singing that song the other day, messing around. Life is a one-way road to nowhere. Life is a one-way trip to nowhere. Life is a magic trick to nowhere. I'm talking about the flesh. The flesh is never satisfied. It needs and needs and wants and desires and desires. And we go through these things that we go through. And when the time comes, we just have to let it go and move on. That people are going to come and people are going to go. People are going to come here and listen to this, and then people are going to go. People are going to come here and listen, and some of them are going to die eventually. I'm going to be on here for some time coping and doing whatever I do. And I'm going to have times where I'm not even talking about this. I'm not even bringing it up in a conversation. But now it's that time where I have to let my pride down and I got to let it all go and I have to detach from it and just say, okay, it is what it is. This is how I feel. This is what I'm going through. And be honest with me, because this is all I can do is be honest with myself. I can't make anybody else be honest with themselves. But I realize a lot of the world is not being honest with themselves. You see, they're holding on. They're trying to fix the situation. They're in denial of things. They run from things. They act like, oh, we can get together and make everything all right. No, sometimes you can't do that. Some people just don't click with each other. There's no chemistry there. And you got to say, okay, listen, even though I care for you, I have compassion for you. I want the best for you. I hope you sail off in your boat and I hope you live the best life you can. I hope you get the medical attention you need when you need it. I hope when you're older, I hope you die in your sleep in a comfortable bed in a log cabin drinking coffee or tea or Swiss chocolate milk, whatever. But it's like, okay, it's just not working. It wasn't meant to happen. And just look at how things happen in this life. People that get jealous because they can't have the person they want. It's a control thing. You're trying to control that situation. You want what you want. You're desiring something that was just not meant to be. So move on. Go to the next thing. You know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, there's so many things in my life that I wanted to happen that did not happen how I wanted it to happen. And I mean, 98% of things went that way. And the 2% went the way that I wanted and how I thought it should go. So that's just life. That's life. And if we cannot come to those terms, then we just can't come to them terms. Some people can cope with it better and some people can't cope with it better. But I don't have an answer or solution, and I know that nobody else has an answer or solution. You can help people sometimes, and you can give when giving needs to be given. You can help people with certain little things. But for me, I just know that I cannot allow myself. I know myself too much. I know how I am. I know how my brain works. I know the inner workings of this vessel like no other. I have a confidence in myself of everything, the whole spectrum, the green, the yellow, the orange, the red, the blue, the indigo, the violet, the whole color of the rainbow spectrum, the white that, you know, flares out and the black abyss in the background that shows it. I know all these things. And this is why it can only be me discussing what I have to discuss for me. When other people are attempting to get involved and tell me, okay, well, maybe you should do this. Don't you think you should do that? Well, did you try this? I don't need to hear any of that. I already know for myself. That's just the way that I am. It's like my way or the highway when I'm with myself. And if I see something around me that is off or something that's bothering me, and I say, look, okay, let's give it a shot here to see if something can whatever. And if it doesn't, then see you later. It's time to move on. It's time for me to get away and move on because it's just not working. But yet, there's so many of us that we just try so hard to change the way that our son is, or to change the way that our parents act, or to have somebody love us that doesn't love us. It's like the attachment there is a problem. The attachments bring problems. It's so hard to explain to people that might not understand this, but attachments are the things that make things worse a lot of the times, because we can't let go and say, okay, it's not working, so we got to move on. Okay, we don't click, we don't have chemistry, it's fine. The best to you, the best, for your health and your life, but it's just not working, okay? All right, have a great day. See you later. And part ways, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And the quicker that we can come to that realization, the quicker that we can swallow that big pill that we can hardly swallow. If we have to break it up into little tiny pieces to swallow it, it's something that we have to do for ourselves. It doesn't mean this greedy thing that we're being selfish or we're being narcissists or whatever. I'm not talking about it in that way. I'm just saying it's something that needs to be done. It's something that you need to do for yourself. It has nothing to do with other people. It has to do with the man and the woman in the mirror staring back at itself, that you have to look at and say, no matter how hard it is, no matter what you're going through, it's just how it is. Yes, does it suck sometimes? Yes, it sucks. And is there a bunch of little things that go in with it when this is doing what it's doing and all this? Yes, it is. It is. But that's life. That is life. And all that there is to do is to cope with it, is to be honest with it, is to know the limits and the boundaries of what you are saying and what you are doing. And sometimes you have to take it upon yourself because you care too much. You have too much compassion, too much empathy. You care about people too much. You care for their well-being, and sometimes you have to hold back and you got to keep it to you. Then you feel like you're somehow lying, or you're being deceitful, or you're holding on to something, you're keeping it a secret. But it's not like that. It's just sometimes that's what I have to do. When I'm saying you, I'm saying me. I'm speaking for myself in this video. I'm not speaking for any other person out there. I can only speak for me. That's why I do these videos, because I can only speak for myself. And if this reflects back onto another person and it helps you through your day, or it makes you see something and to get on with life, and but as long as we're here, there's going to continue to be some problems. As long as we're here, things are going to happen. People are going to come, people are going to go. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be round and rounds. There is no ultimate solution. There is no ultimate I've made it moment, or mountaintop moment where you're going to be at the top looking down all the time. It's not real, y'all. It's not a real thing. And this is why I said it's so hard to have a real conversation. It's so hard to talk to people that have these illusions of some things, and they're in denial. They're lying to themselves. They put on the mask and facade. I can't talk to these people because I know what they're going to give me. They're going to give me that. They're going to give me all this stuff that they've been conditioned and programmed and TV indoctrinated with, and what they've been brought up with, and the things that they feel and they go by. That's what I'll hear from them. But they're not really looking into what is causing these things. It's life. It's life. And why are we in denial of life? We're here, we're living, and we have to cope with life as honestly as we can. And sometimes it sucks. Sometimes we don't want to hear stuff. Sometimes we are in positions where we don't want to do a damn thing. We just want to give up completely. I know it happens with me once in a while, and it sucks saying this. I hate saying this because then it makes me look like a weak person. It makes me look like, oh, everything with him is broken and tore apart and he has nowhere to go, nothing to say, so why would I listen to this guy again? You see, this is the vulnerability, though, that is lacking in our world. This is the authenticity that is lacking, but yet there's just some things in life that we cannot do anything about. It's out of our control. It's just the way it is. Sometimes it's brutal. Sometimes it's not as bad, but I don't go about doing it tricking myself, lying to myself, hiding behind jargon or acting like it's some way that it's not. I don't deal with things like that. And when people do deal with things like that, it just doesn't click. It doesn't, there's not that chemistry there. It becomes this thing where they're looking towards you or you're looking towards them for them to tell you something. Nobody has an answer for anybody here. There are no ultimate answers. There is only coping. Are we coping honestly or are we lying to ourselves? Are we being real? Are we being true? Or are we being fake and plasticky and putting on and acting like there isn't a problem when there is a problem? See, most people don't want to say those things. They don't want to say when there's really a problem that there's a problem with them. A lot of people are in denial of their mental health. They're in denial of how the world is. They're in denial of a lot of things. And they're just so used to being attached to things that they can't let go of them. And the way that they deal with it is to lie to themselves or to tell themselves something else to get out of it. No, just be honest. Just be real. Just say it how it really is so that you can get past it and move on from it. And then you still got to cope, but at least you were honest. At least you said, okay, I was ashamed of this thing, so I'm ashamed. I'm telling you, I'm ashamed. And that's the part where most people, they're too worried about what everybody else is going to think or say. And that's a little of how it is with me when I'm around certain people that I know might not understand. I just have to keep it to myself sometimes, and I have to take all of it in myself, and I got to kind of take it in this tight ball like the X-Men guy when he has the bomb in his hand and it blows up and he's going, when he's bringing it together. That's how I feel. I'm bringing it all in and putting it here and going, okay, and then it doesn't blow up. It just goes in and then I have it here, and then the way to get it out, the way that it is blowing up, is to do a video, is to speak about it, is to be honest about it, is to go about doing it that way, you see? And to make it as honest and authentic and unique as I possibly can, to make the cope something, to make the coping something real, that other people can say, okay, well, maybe that is some alternative for me. Maybe that's something I can do, or maybe even though it sucks, even though I don't want to do it, on and on and on. Well, maybe that's something to help me by in this life. Maybe it's something that can get me through this day or this week or the next month. Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm in the blind. I have no idea. And that's how I run my channel. I don't want to know certain things. I don't want to get involved with certain things. I just want to do what I'm doing, and I want to cope how I cope. And if it's helping people, great. If it's making people worse, then maybe that's what needs to happen in that moment. I don't know, but I am not the person that decides those things. I am just speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for anybody else, because I can't live anybody else's life. I can't make anybody else do anything. And even that sometimes, how I am, I want everything to be how I think it should be. I want things to go accordingly. If I see one thing, if I see one barrel out of 1,000,000 barrels that I can see as long as I can see, if I see one of those spilled over and it's leaking shit into the ground, I'm going to be like, holy shit, there's a barrel there that is leaking onto the ground, and I have to go to that barrel. But see, sometimes you just have to let the barrel spill, because if you go over and do something, that barrel might go up in flames and burn you up. You might go to lift the barrel and hurt your back. You might go over to it and it might be a toxic gas that'll knock you out and kill you. You just never know what you're getting into. And this is the double-edged sword of caring. This is the double-edged sword of everything in this life. And there's some things you can do some things about while we're alive, and there's some things that we cannot do anything about, and you just got to swallow what you can't swallow sometimes. Sometimes you got to break it up into little pieces so that you can swallow it when you can, and sometimes we just have to go through it. We just have to simply go through it. There is no more after that. Oh, well, let's try to make something better. Oh, well, let's try to do this. Well, let's try to make it work. No, just let it be what it is. If I have to go my way, this person got to go their way. If something's not working, it's not working. It's just how it is. And even leaving it at that, you just realize how powerless you are in some situations, and that's letting go of the control. It's so hard for our conditioned minds and our programmed minds and the way that we were taught to think. It's so hard to let go of control. It's so hard to say, okay, I'm not in control of this. There's nothing I can do, so let it go. Let it go. Just let it go. That's all you can do sometimes. That's all I can do. I'm not speaking for anybody else. It's all I can do. And sometimes, even though I say let go, my mind has not really let go of it, because that's how the mind is. The mind wants to be in control. The mind wants the power over the situation. The mind wants what the mind wants, and the mind is never satisfied. The human flesh is never satisfied. But yet there is a way to cope with it. There is a way to be responsible with it. There is a way to have dignity with it. There is a way to lose with dignity with it. There is a way to go about balancing out this double-edged sword of caring, is all that I'm saying. Now, I said it the best way that I could. I'm going to end it on that note. Thank you for watching. If you would like to help support the channel, that would be great. I appreciate it. Anything I can get, I will receive and say, I will use it with what I have to use it for. I'm not here to cheat anybody. I'm not here to play games with anybody. I'm not here to scheme and scam anybody. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm just here to say it how it really is for myself. I'm here to cope the way that I cope and say it how I say it. And that's what it is. That's what it is at the end of the day. I'm just another person coping in life like everybody else. I'm no more special than anybody. I'm not better than anybody, and I'm not worse than anybody. So take care of yourselves. That's all you can do is your best, and it's all you can do is cope here. That's all you can do. Later.